especially to you, Ma'am Jen. Good morning. As what we have agreed from our group, we are going to discuss each domain based from our assigned task. And I am assigned of cognitive domain. But before I'm going to proceed the learning outcomes, allow me to read the summary of the story. By the way, our topic is literature, grade 10 students, and this story is how Odin lost his eyes. So the summary is: Odin, king of Asgard, king of the gods, and all-father to his peaceful kingdom, saw evil coming to his land. He was afraid of what might it bring to his people. He wants to protect humans from the evil frost giants. To foresee and gain knowledge of the future, Odin must drink the water of a special well. This water will then reveal the images of the past and the future. Mimir, the guardian of the well, requires an unbearable price for the water, and it is Odin's eyes. Odin promptly plucks out his eyes after he drinks the water. He sees that the future holds sorrow and death for humans. He also sees that it will be redeemed by an event or great promise. Odin's eyes lays at the bottom of Mimir's well as a reminder of Odin's great sacrifice. So, I include the summary so that you have idea of what the story is all about. So now let's talk about the Bloom's taxonomy of what are the learning outcome in each level of cognitive domain of learning. So what are these levels? First is remembering, understanding, and applying, analyzing, evaluating, and creating. There are 6 levels. So let's take it one by one. Let's start from remembering. Remembering is recalls the previous learned information. So at the end of the lessons, the learners are able to describe who's Odin in the story and recall of how Odin lost his eyes. And next level is understanding. So in this level, the learners comprehend the meaning of the instruction. So at the end of the lesson, the learners are able to summarize the whole story and give an example which relate to the story. And the third level is applying. It using a concept and new situation. So at the end of the lesson, the learners are able to demonstrate the flow of the story and apply to themselves of what they have learned in the story. And the fourth level is analyzing. So analyzing, the learners can separate concept into parts. So the learning outcomes are at the end of the lessons, the learner are able to compare to other mythical stories in which part they differ. Then, next is determine the level of how good the story done and can this be possible in the real situation. Then, the fifth levels of cognitive domain is evaluating. Evaluating, so the learning outcome are at the end of the lesson, the learners are able to provide feedback of which part to improve and the strength of the story, and also justify the behavior of Odin why did he decided to let his eyes lost? And lastly, which is creating. So basically, in this level, the learners will create with their own idea. So the learning outcome is, at the end of the lesson, the learners are able to create a story that is related of what they have learned. And also explain their story to the class. And that would be all in my assigned topic.
So, psychomotor domain involves physical movement or coordination. It should be measured in terms of speed, precision, procedures, or techniques in execution. It also has 7 levels, which is the perception, set, guided practice, mechanism, complex overt response, adaptation, and origination. So first, let's talk about the perception. Perception is the learner use sensory cues to guide motor activities wherein they can differentiate the character and distinguish the role of the character in the story. So by the way, it is based on the literature How Oden Lost His Eyes. So next is the set. Set refers to a learner's readiness to act and predetermine a learner's response to different situations, wherein the students begin to imagine the flow of the story and states the major points of the story. So third is the guided response, where learners imitate a process. In this process, they will trace different levels of the story and copies the flow of the story. So the fourth is mechanism. They will practice to show confidence and proficiency in doing the skills. They will construct what they learn and manipulate the story by making another ending of the story. So the fifth level of psychomotor domain is the complex overt response, where they will show their skillful performance by organizing the learning events and make them share why they decided to do what he just did, and also by measuring the students' accuracy and coordination by making the students have a role play or create a role play. So next, in the sixth is adaptation, where learner skills are well developed with modifying movement to fit the special requirements, where they will adapt the story of how Oden lost his eyes and revise the ending of the story and do it in a role play. So lastly, the origination, where new pattern to fit in a particular situation. So in origination also, creativity is emphasized, where they will be creatively use reusable materials in making their props and everything that is needed in the role play, and also arranging the flow of the character, roles, props, and everything that is needed. So for the review, there are 7 psychomotor domains, which are the perception, set, guided practice, mechanism, complex overt response, adaptation, and origination. So that would be all. Thank you.
So good morning once again. We are done with the cognitive and psychomotor domain of learning. So we're down to affective domain of learning. So the affective domain has also its levels from simple to complex. They are the following: receiving, responding, valuing, organizing, and internalizing. Alright, so before we begin with integrating these levels into learning outcomes, let me inform you that in every level, we have 2 learning outcomes. So let's begin with receiving. So in receiving, the learning outcomes is acknowledge King Odin of Asgard deeds towards the people on earth. Second, give scenario that they like the most. Second level, responding. So first learning outcome is present the most intense part of the story. Second learning outcome is tell the summary of the story. Third, valuing. So first learning outcome is appreciate the content of the story. Then second learning outcome is treasure the essence of what Odin did. So fourth, which is organizing. So first learning outcome is compare King Odin of Asgard and frost giants in the story. So second, relates on how Odin sacrificed his eyes for the people. And we're down to our last one, which is internalizing. So the first learning outcome in this level is display the values that are present in the story. So second, or the last learning outcome is serve as guide as they go through their daily living. So that's it. That's all the affective domain and its levels of learning. So that's it.